By the end of this video, you'll know the top DLC candidates for Mario Kart World with a percentage of each character making it into the game. Because we're taking the roster from 50 to 100 characters.
But here's the catch. Palette swaps like these are most likely to happen. But we're skipping those. So no skins, no costumes, no second or third party characters. We're sticking to characters and enemies from the Mario and extended Donkey Kong universe. But what about Kirby Air Riders? Isn't that game gonna be promoted? Definitely, I think he's gonna get a spot on the roster.
But right now, there are already so many characters that we can choose from.
So buckle up, because the deeper we go, the wilder the video gets. Starting off with Luma, a fan favorite, super recognizable, and they already have their own dedicated course. I'm giving this a solid 90% chance to happen. I wouldn't even be surprised if we get some color options. After that,
Chain Chomp, who appears in tons of stages, and in this game, when you're a background character, you do have a chance to end up in a card. On top of that, he has become recently playable in the last 2 games of Mario Tennis. So 90% chance.
which brings us to Bob-Omb. Things are on the rise for this guy. He recently started to become playable in a few Mario spin-offs, and he's already in Mario Kart World as a course obstacle. Let's put them on the roster and continue for 80% with Peachette, a very divisive character. Some people love her, other people don't know what to make of her. I personally am a little bit confused. Is she Toadette? Is she Princess Peach? Or maybe she's Bowser? We've all seen the memes. In Mario Kart Tour, she was her own character, which is why I gave her this slot. Now, the other characters that we have for 80% are Jelly Beans, Womps in their new wedge shape, Twomps, and the Sumo Bros. I'm also gonna fill it out with 2 lightweight characters that we've also seen in the game, which are Buzzy Beetles and Spinies. Diddy Kong clocks in at 70%. He's one of the most consistently requested characters, and even though he appeared quite late in Mario Kart 8's life cycle, Donkey Kong and Diddy are clearly back during the Switch 2 era.
Aside from that, we are waiting for a Donkey Kong Bonanza confirmation because some of the voice actors already appear in the game's credits.
He is accompanied by the Bullies, the Ty-foo, who've really been pushed by Nintendo lately, even appearing in party games. The Freezies, a very retro character, and here is one of my favorites, Toko Toko. Now this is amazing for so many reasons. This character is tied to Super Mario Land,
Which is tied to Daisy's origins, marking a return after over 35 years.
not to mention that this is the original Giga Chat. The Koopalings can be found for 60% on the list. Now the Koopalings all have their own personality and weight class, but for this video I'm gonna count them as one just for the simple fact that we're gonna get all of them or we're gonna get none of them. I also hope one day that we're gonna get a redesign on Wendy. That bready 80s look she has really seems to be harming her popularity. Other than that, for 60% we have the Skeeters and the Fire Snakes, just not as popular. We also have Batadon, who looks a little bit like Toko Toko, but Monty Mole and Rocky Ranch are also both in the game, so that doesn't seem to disqualify anyone. Which brings us to PD Piranha at 50%, a fan favorite, but with the Piranha plant already in the game, it does seem to hamper his placement a little bit. The same applies to the Sledge Brothers, they're already in the game, but now that we already have Sumo Brothers higher and the Hammer Brothers, it does seem to be a bit of an overkill. And I'm gonna add in this Tyrol. This is actually a tire version of a Growl. Pucci also comes in at 50% because of the Yoshi's Island course. Now his asset is in that course, so if they bring the course to the game, I can guarantee that he's going to be playable. And the same thing applies to Noki, who has his own stage, and Fuzzy, who we of course see in the Rome track. Let's shift gears a little bit. There are still background enemies like the metallic brambles or even animals like the elephants and bisons. They might make it to the roster, but honestly there are way too many fan favorites that we still need to discuss. Continuing with King Bob-Omb coming in at 40%.
A perfect character for DLC considering that he was a boss in of course the past games and he's even been playable in Mario Kart Tour.
Ninja comes in at the same percentage. Right now he's not tied to a course, but they could create one.
And of course they could create one for Super Mario Wonder, which is why I chose Prince Florian and...
Onward and upward! Wait, I don't know how to drive.
Love them or hate them, but I would be shocked if the Talking Flower doesn't make it into Mario Kart World. They're literally everywhere. everywhere. In party games, they got their own statue and even an amiibo. So my question to you is, what do you think of him? So leave a comment, and while you're at it, make sure to subscribe so I can make more of these in the future.
Which brings us to 30%. Here we have Cranky Kong and Funky Kong.
Cranky is Mario's nemesis from back in the day, and in recent years he has appeared in a few more titles, even becoming playable in some of them.
Funky is incredibly popular. Bro looks cool, he's fast as what, and it's an obvious crowd pleaser. Speaking of popularity, let's talk about the Super Mario movie. That thing grossed over $1.3 billion. And while it was breaking records, Mario Kart World was already deep in development. So after seeing how popular the movie got, it would not surprise me if they decided to add General Koopa, the blue-shelled villain from the movie, into this game. He is the blue shell. It's such a full circle moment.
You can't escape me! Blue Shell!
And from that same movie, Spike also has a decent chance. Pauline was reintroduced with the Switch, and now with the Switch too, why not reintroduce Spike? They did him really well in the movie, and as somebody who's played the original Wrecking Crew, I do have a soft spot for the character. Now this is starting to complete pretty well. You might be able to guess the next batch, but I'm telling you, there are quite a few surprises left. Moving into 25% with Pom-Pom, who was playable in Super Mario Party, which does give her a shot to reappear in this game. And then we have Baby Pauline. I know. But after the reappearance of Baby Rosalina, this is not such a crazy idea. And we'll probably also see Baby Wario and Baby Donkey Kong making their return. And a lot of people see these characters are much more legitimate because they appeared playable in games before. And Baby Waluigi seems like a logic next step. And the last one in this segment, fan favorite Baby Pink-Gold Peachette. I'm just kidding. It's Baby Yoshi. So my question to you is, would you rather have Baby Yoshi or any of the other babies? And if you like him, what would be your favorite color? Kicking off the 20% tier is Professor EGAT, who was almost playable in Mario Kart DS but got caught late in development and replaced by Drybones. And with Luigi's Mansion receiving so much love during the Switch era, his inclusion honestly feels long overdue. Next up is Plessy the dinosaur, who reappeared in Bowser's Fury, also in Mario Party Jamboree. I think her design really fits into Mario Kart, would that be as a racer or even as part of a track? It just makes sense. Up next we have Dixie Kong, who had a comeback with Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. After that she appeared in Mario Kart Tour and she even had a small cameo in the Super Mario movie. But overall, it doesn't seem like Nintendo is really pushing for her character. So her inclusion remains a question mark. To keep it on Donkey Kong, I'm also gonna put Rambi in the same bracket. Listen, if Pucci can sit in a car, Rambi can sit in a car too.
Rambi would bring something unique, and it's also him that helps you to race in Donkey Kong Bonanza, so it's a double fit.
Continuing for 10% with King Goomba. Well, he might clash a little bit with regular Goomba, but design-wise and specifically when it comes to his weight, he does stand out on his own. So I would say he has a decent shot. Same percentage applies for Rex from Super Mario World. Might be a little bit obscure with the younger fans, but he does have a cult following. Outside of that, he sports that cool purple color, and I have to say that anti-Yoshi vibe actually works pretty well in these days.
Up next we have Donkey Kong Jr. Well, not really. I really wanted to include this character because it's an OG, but then because of that I remembered that the OG is supposed to be the current one.
So instead, I'm going with Chunky Kong, who randomly showed up in the Mario movie crowd scenes. Then we have Cappy. Cappy is an interesting one. I would have loved to see him playable in many other party games. Hasn't happened. I hope this is gonna be this game. If it's not in this game, I feel he might be forgotten. Which brings us to the final stretch, 1%. Just 3 more characters left in the core 100, plus I'm gonna give you 3 bonus picks that I think you're gonna love.
Before we get to the last segment, I want to hear from you. Which characters would you like to see becoming playable in Mario Kart World? If I see some nice suggestions, I might make a follow-up video including those.
From Super Mario Bros. 3, maybe the coolest character, and that is the Angry Sun. Now, normally I would say, listen, this is never gonna happen, but with that dolphin from Super Mario World appearing, I mean, he appeared, what was it, in 2 levels? I think the same applies for this character. You know, arms are not a requirement. Put the sun in a car right now. Okay, the next one is really old, so I don't expect everyone to know this, but it's Fight or Flight. This is part of that same game as the Sidestepper and Freezy. And most importantly, it introduced Luigi to the main stage. The Fighterfly is basically the only enemy from that era to never really come back. Number 100, you may be able to predict this one, is Toadsword, the trusted steward of the Mushroom Kingdom. Finally, right? Now you may be wondering,
Why 1%? And I gotta keep it real.
he was in the concept art of the Super Mario movie to make his comeback after a very long time, and then he got the job, he got cut. So it seems that Nintendo, for whatever reason, for now has moved on, but he's a legacy character, so we can never totally say it's not gonna happen. And now the bonus picks. I picked 3 extra characters as a thank you for people who stuck out throughout the video. As a small creator, it means the world to me. So first up, we got Bandit from Yoshi's Island, then we got Mauser from Super Mario Bros. 2, and finally Tatanga, the end boss from Daisy's Super Mario Land. Oh man, we got one more spot left. Okay, my last one, and this is the craziest one, I would say the Eagle Mask Gate from Super Mario Bros. 2.